It's going on the
I didn't know. Chris.
we're live.
Oh man, we're having too much fun here. Yes, you sprung it on me with bad hair. My hair is crazy looking. Totally unfixed.
So
That's
let's
okay.
let's
It's the wake.
let's do
Just woke up. Look. Yes.
let's
Hi everyone. Welcome to the podcast. What are we talking about today?
all right. So we're going to be talking about the news that's been going on with the Dalai Lama.
Oh yeah, that's big in the news. Yes, sure is. What's your take on it, Chris?
Okay, so I have a lot of things that I'm starting to understand that are patterns. So because this is about the Dalai Lama who inappropriately kissed a boy on the lips and then even stuck his tongue out.
Well,
And
no, he was. Oh, did okay. You might know more. So
so,
wait. So he initially kissed him.
so the clip was the boy and the
Oh my
Dalai Lama.
God.
They first kiss, and then there was another one where it was him sticking his tongue out. And then I get a little confused because one says suck my toe, another one says suck my tongue. So I'm getting a little confused with that. But I was just looking at the footage, the recorded footage, and then recently
Yeah.
him apologizing.
What do you think of the apology?
So I mean, that is that's gonna outrage a ton of people, and this is gonna create a lot of controversy now. And I actually had some take. I wanted to go dive deep into this concept. But before
Hmm.
we do that, let's share your thoughts too.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Thank you for asking. Actually, I'm confused, shocked, disgusted. Confused, shocked, disgusted, baffled. Like, what do you do with this? What do you do with this?
It's $1 million question.
The, there's a part of me that's like everyone's human, and then I'm like, what? What would Nina? You would never cross the line. You would never. It's not even in your wildest imagination would you ever be so disgusting, inappropriate. The child is. I'm not going to say that he's scarred for life because with the right processing, if you have parents that are attuned and can help a child to process this, there's really not going to be a trauma here. Was it disgusting, horrendously unjust and wrong? And I mean, there's a part of me that's like, why isn't he? I mean, maybe it's just the hyper protective part of me, but like, why is he not going to be brought up on charges almost? I mean, like, there's no one that's above the law here, right? And so, one consideration that I have, overarching consideration that is extremely important, is that it is possible that he has dementia and that he is regressing back to a childlike state. I think that to just let this go with a simple apology is an absolute travesty of justice. This needs to be investigated. He needs to be under investigation. That is my opinion. And to just kind of like, okay, people are satisfied with it was a playful joke. What? That's the part that's outrageous for me. That people are satisfied with simply, oh, it was probably a joke. It's probably like a cultural thing. Like in his culture, that was something like, well, then let's investigate it and figure out.
Yes, like there's I've seen parents kiss their child on the lips, and it's weird. Then there is like there's just something that I didn't even think about, dementia, and then maybe him regressing to that potentiality of him being gay if he were whatever his orientation would be if he was a regular citizen.
Okay.
And so that's another
It's
factor
interesting.
that
Wait, is he not a regular citizen? I'm trying to understand.
meaning if he didn't practice this, because being the Dalai Lama is a very different route of life. a different lifestyle, like
Got it.
not having to express sexuality as like say a pope would or a nun. So that's what I meant, like in terms of lifestyle.
Right. Do you know much? I have to say, another area where I'm completely ignorant, I don't really know much about the restraints or confines of their lifestyles, the restraints involved, the restrictions, I should say.
I don't in terms of the Dalai Lama, but actually this is something that I wanted to dive deep in terms of comparison that I notice or that others can notice in, like, for example, Christianity or Catholicism. And that would be like how many cases have there been of like priests and pastors, more so priests and
Yeah.
these older men who end up being like pedophiles or
Mm-hmm.
like cases where they had molested the like the altar boys,
Yeah.
these young children.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Do you think, Chris, that there are people that, how do I say this? Do you think that there are sometimes people that have been molested by, I mean, I don't want to bastardize the hierarchy of the system, like, and say that people go into that as a form of escape, but do you feel like it could be escape behavior, going in and completely denouncing and leaving your sexuality behind and making a vow? Do you think that it's, in some ways can be either escape behavior, avoidant behavior? Um, do you think that it's possible that there are these people that are molested as children and that choose that path to avoid having a sexuality? Because molestation creates deep shame. And so when that deep shame is present, people do a lot of different things. There are people that get into the sex industry as a response to that. A lot of the work, in my opinion, done by women in the sex industry, I'm sure men as well, it's a trauma response. They are trying to, it's called repetition compulsion. And then in psychology, there's also something where a person's trying to gain mastery over their abuse. And when you're trying to gain mastery over your abuse, you can be promiscuous. You can be so, I mean, I said a lot. I'm going to give you a moment to just, yeah.
I understand, like an example of this repetitive compulsion where you said that where they can be promiscuous, and by mastering that because of the molestation, I can easily say that a prime example would be R. Kelly, because he was molested at a young age, and then he ended up becoming one of the biggest R&B artists out there, and especially for the Black community. And then his reputation for um, having these relationships with underage girls in like their junior high. This is like
Mm-hmm.
what, between like the ages of like 13 and 16 or something. Like
Yeah.
there's a whole documentary on Netflix.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've got to see that actually. Do you know the name of it? Maybe we can share it with the viewers if there are any.
I would immediately
There
say
might be one.
search up R. Kelly on Netflix, because this
There,
is because there was a film and then there's a series, and I was just like, because this is like putting yourself in the mind of a sexual predator.
yeah,
And
yeah.
there's others out there like Jeffrey
Mm.
Epstein, if I understand, if I'm saying his name correctly.
Yeah, yeah, there is. Yeah, I mean, this is for I, as you know, I work with trauma survivors. I myself am a trauma survivor, so I specialize in working with people with trauma. And so for a trauma survivor, and especially if it's that type of trauma, it's extremely unsettling, because for a trauma survivor, it questions their trust, their ability to trust. That's one of the things that is eroded uh, in the worst way, the trust. So like, this is supposed to be a trusted man who is a leader in the community, in the world. And so survivors, I'm sure, are feeling unsafe, feeling disgusted, actually. And do survivors sometimes re-experience their own trauma when these kind of things come up? Absolutely. And with tools, trauma survivors learn how to negotiate and manage the overwhelming feelings that come up. You know, there's a big thing in social media today, which is that triggers are a good thing. Triggers are a good thing. I would definitely err on the side of believing, for the most part, they give us an opportunity to process more of that trauma. So if you understand EMDR, we work on it's called the LOD, the level of disturbance, LOD, level of disturbance. So you've got to rate the memory the traumatic memory that we have decided to work with, okay? You've got to rate from a 0 to 10 where your level of disturbance when you think about that memory. So by repeated exposure, just like with repeated triggers, eventually, if you are able to connect the body, the problem is if you, it's you're not going to kind of lower the level of disturbance and then see less symptomology in your life, less addiction, less depression, that kind of thing when I say symptom, unless you are engaging the body, because we don't heal in the intellect. Actually, that's what blocks healing very often. So if you are resolving this trauma, healing by holding the image, focusing on the image, and then asking, where in my body do I feel this sense of,
And then it's the question of how connected are these people with the mind, the body, because I mean, there's people that they can go through certain they become numb, like you say. It's like they forget to allow themselves to feel their body and being in tune with themselves, that they forget. It's like they eliminate that communication with them to listen.
yes.
And then
Healing, yeah. Healing is about integration. Healing is about, to survive, it was pushed away, pushed out of the system. Let me just hold on a second.
and then while she's gone, it's also the senses, because some of these people.
All of a sudden, I got like crazy thirsty. I realized I didn't have a drink. I'm so sorry. We don't want the viewers, that there could be one, to see me parched.
I like to add with the body too. So part of these triggers that I've learned is that some of these triggers can be related to senses, because that's an easy way for us to get back into our body. So, for example, by triggers, I was listening to a neighbor of mine. She says that certain smells trigger a specific time in her life that she experienced these traumas. And so these can be smells, these can be certain tastes, bringing back us to those specific memories.
Yeah.
And that's why, for example, maybe sugar can be so hard to fight, because it's something that's embedded in. I'm now going diving deep into it, like from, for example, my sense. How there's certain foods that are sugary that brings me back to that moment as a child. That also makes it hard for me to outgrow, because those were some of the happiest moments. Like an easy memory I can share is like having cereal for breakfast on a Saturday morning, watching Power
God,
Rangers.
yeah. Yes. Oh no, I'm getting triggered. Captain Crunch. I was a cereal addict. Or wait, no, we're going there. We're going there. Okay, Captain Crunch. Trigger warning. Fruit Loops. There was actually like one that was kind of like earthy, crunchy, called Aspen. They used to pour a ton of powdered sugar, and I was obsessed with powdered sugar. So they would put a ton of powdered, believe it or not, in Aspen cereal. No, Aspen. What did I say? Aspen. Alpen. I said Aspen, right?
Yeah, but
no, Alpen. Sorry, Alpen. It's still on the market, I think. They would put a ton of powdered sugar. Yeah.
Anybody?
I could go on and on. Now and later, it's Goldfish.
Leave a comment.
Devil Dogs.
If y'all familiar with that cereal that Nina just brought up.
Captain Crunch. Who doesn't know Captain Crunch? I want to meet the person that doesn't know Captain Crunch.
That's one of my favorites as well.
The American. I think we froze.
No, no. So, all right. So, okay. So I wanted to go back. So that is a very good question because in terms of that you said about if, for example, the Dalai Lama, if he went through this kind of
Yeah.
molestation as a child, and then you also mentioned like people that are sex workers. These are examples of extremes of someone that have could have gone through childhood trauma, whereas like sex is what the sex industry is one extreme where you go through that repetitive compulsion of that experience, and then religion partaking in, for example, being like a pope or a priest can be the opposite where you don't go into that because there's a lot of shaming that goes on in religion in relations to sex. So, so these are routes that many people take that were childhood trauma. Um, you say survivors, people that experience these. So we're just bringing this up to the audience and the correlation, relation,
Yes.
in all this.
These are these are Brazil nuts. This is a healthier option. Wait, hold on. Why am I? This would be a healthier option rather than Captain Crunch. A couple of these a day. There you go. I have
We
some on
gotta
the
get
table. I travel with them.
you gotta get like the brand of them. That way, maybe we are not sponsored, but we are promoting these Brazil nuts that Nina Marin is sharing to all the others out there.
Now, this is. Am I allowed?
There we go. We got the Super Berry Brew Doctor. That's what it says DR, right? Brew Doctor. Is that what it is?
Uh-huh. I went to visit some friends for Thanksgiving and I tried kombucha yogurt. It was amazing. It was dreamy. I still have to get some. I keep every time I go to the supermarket, I'm like, where is that? Like kombucha yogurt was so good. I am like a hardcore food addict in like the worst way. I don't know how I'm kind of on the thin side. I don't know.
What I was wondering is there's a supermarket that I went over there that's does like all organic. If you know the name of it, I'm trying to remember it because I went there with the time that I was looking after Bronx.
Mm, Aldi's.
No, no, no. There's another one. It's like 15 minutes from you.
I don't know which one that was. So
Oh,
anyway,
I'm gonna have to look
we're
that up
getting
and
a bit
send it to you.
tangential, aren't we? um, Food at your house on Easter was epic. I'm still kind of thinking about what a great time, how fulfilling, connection is just so important, especially around the holidays. And, I say this often, the opposite of addiction is not sobriety. The opposite of addiction is connection. And so this is what we need to do more of. Now, I don't know what the Dalai Lama's story is and how this connects to the Dalai Lama. I will say that if people are triggered, I mean, this is sad, but it's a truth that there are people that are struggling with drug addiction and that they hear this kind of story and then it just goes out and they just kind of use. I mean, there are people that.
I think we lost Nina right now. So I would like to blend a connection with the Dalai Lama because I understand that when we get to reach a certain age when we're very old, it's almost like the priests and the Pope they are praised by children a lot more easily versus adults, and because it's expected when we get old that they're supposed to be this way, they're supposed to behave in this manner. So it's almost like easier for the older folks to have this sort of desire for the the younger, um, like the children, because of the way that how expressive they are through their face, through their emotions and all that. And um, yeah, we lost Nina. So adding to that is, mm, what else? Mm, well, this would be a perfect time to do promotions. So, guys, if you are in need of maybe talking to someone professional that you don't know who that would be in terms of maybe having childhood trauma, I would recommend, I would advise as a health coach, a certified health coach, referring you to a mental health practitioner. That will be, for example, Nina Marin. She is she's one who's studied EMDR and has gone through her own extensive healing through the techniques that she provides with her clients. And one way you can do that is by booking time with her at wecoachmentalhealth.com. Also, I would advise for you, or I would recommend as well, you can also follow her on Facebook. So you just simply type wecoachmentalhealth.com. And yeah, we'll be continuing on providing more videos and more content because this is something in terms of mental health that is affecting a lot of us, many of us. It's a growing number of suicides, growing number of people checking in with depression. There's even now where you can take the day off for your mental health, and it's real. It's out there. So as well, those interested in achieving their goals, but don't know what it's like to have a health coach, you can continue to follow us. So you can follow my YouTube channel. So I have it here as at Coach Chris Bitterelli. So which I also have to uh, also change that a little bit in terms of making it shorter. And yeah, I'm going to be also providing other coaches here where they can showcase their products and their services because there needs to be a people need to know that there's health coaches out there that can provide this help and these services. And instead of this false belief of pills and surgery, because that's what's also going on. There's people that are going and paying thousands of dollars for surgery, but they still end up sick eventually. They end up going through succumbing to these other problems, and that's unfortunate. And it actually takes long-term lifestyle habits, and you have to be willing to do the work. And it's going to be hard, and you're going to need support. You're going to need support of a trainer, of a health coach, of a nutritionist. And I advise that you start doing some research, finding someone that you feel you can entrust with, because there are phenomenal people out there that they do this work from here, from their heart, and you can receive the help you need. Also, by the way, I will be providing um, life insurance or insurance financial services to people. So you can go to my Facebook page. Just type in my name, Chris Bitterelli, and you can book an appointment with me so I can help you get financially protected, whether that be just you and or your family. because it's a growing number of people that are dying, and they're not under a policy where they and their family are protected, because then there's these GoFundMe pages that are going up, and not only is that embarrassing, but it's also being unprepared, financially being unprepared. That's what GoFundMe are. Everyone, it's inevitable. I'm saying this now. Anyone and everyone can die tomorrow. You don't know. You don't know if you're meant to live 10 years, 20 years from now. It's unpredictable. So I've had, in the last 5 years, I've had 4 people close to me die. I've had, first it started with my grandmother, my grandma Carmen, on my Puerto Rican side. That was my dad's mother. Then I lost my father, and then I lost my grandmother, my great grandmother. Excuse me. I lost my great grandmother Carmen, my great grandmother in Ecuador, and then I lost my great grandfather Guillermo. R.I.P. to them 4 individuals that were, and it made me feel sad because I wanted to go to Ecuador, but because of being during the time of COVID, it would it wasn't as safe to go to Ecuador. I don't feel safe. I didn't feel safe to go there, as well as my transition here in Florida. So I would advise for you guys, if you don't have insurance, time's now. So get at come at my Facebook, or you can even email me. Email me at tools for the digit 4 life hh@gmail.com. And yeah, folks, I don't know where Nina is, so we can continue off later on. So I'll see you then.